podcast Knowledge Empowers. With you, as always, it's me, Kat, 안녕하세요. Then we have Baruch.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we have Kolaj.
Dobre rano, dobre rano, dobre rano. Good morning, everyone.
Wow, that was the same level energy as last time. Wow.
I always feel like, have you watched Frasier?
Yes.
The series? So there was
Yes.
Good Morning Seattle, and suddenly when I'm at the Good Morning, I feel like saying Seattle, and like, no, that's a different, really. That's a different series. It's something else. No, just don't.
Good morning, our regular listeners of our podcast from around the world.
And there you go.
Dum, dum, dum. Guys, we are continuing in our podcasting, and we have many, many topics still prepared for us. And we were talking about this sort of new word, especially the Slovak word was very difficult for me to even pronounce. But it sort of means, like, you guys said something like ignoring you or ignoring, or AKA discounting. What does that mean?
Well, it's about the problems around us, the problems we may or may not perceive. And it's about basically ignoring the problem on some level, or not dealing. That's the better way, I think, dealing with the problem itself. And it's like our individual perception of the problem and our capability to deal with it is what happens when this discounting occurs.
But is it on a conscious level or unconscious?
Have you observed, or have you talked to someone, or someone who reached out to you and presented a sad story, how there are problems and they can't do anything about it? Although when you listen to the story, you said to yourself in your mind, like, okay, but you can do this or this or this. Have that occurred to you before?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Has something similar like this occurred to you? Like, we are a great team. Our communication in the team is the best. And when you observe the team, you found out that the individuals are not communicating between themselves. They're undermining their integrity and or something similar to that. Have you observed something like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So these two are just two examples of how discounting actually looks like in reality.
That might be very dangerous because you are ignoring the problem of yours or someone else's.
But what if there is someone's specific behavior, right? It might even hurt you, let's say, their behavior. But on a long term, you're making the decision not to provide any feedback or anything because you're just tired of, even though our podcast is called Knowledge Empowers, but you are just tired of educating the person. And, one particular make any effect on you could have helped that person, but no effect on you. So you make that decision to ignore it just so I can focus on something else because you are overly tired.
Okay, when you decide that you want to ignore the problem, it may be a different level of discounting. It may not be. It depends. The ignoring is like a helping word. It's not exactly the same. We will discover it soon because there are 4 levels of it. The level of existence, significance, relevance, and personal ability. And the first level when it comes to existence is what we talked about, is that I have looked, for example, at the data, or I have looked into the team, I talked to the team, and I don't see a problem.
Is it intentional? Like, I don't see a problem because I just didn't notice.
It's somewhere in between. Like, you tell yourself, like, none of this is my responsibility. I am not taking care of this, or like you subconsciously avoid, you have some biases, prejudices, like, or experience that, for example, this is how the good communication in the team should look like.
Okay.
And you are not investigating more because this is how it should look like, because you have this experience from your past meetings, from your past teams, from your past Excel data, whatever is there, and this is how it was always. So
That sounds like that podcast episode where we talked about bullying, where manager screams at you or bullies you in other way, where you basically ignore it or kind of like just bear with it because you expect the manager can do this. They have the power. Is that kind of like discounting?
It could be. It definitely could be counted in this way. It's, this whole discounting is just the internal mechanism which through which we are trying to stabilize that this is normal, this is fine, so that we don't feel like, okay, we need to solve anything. And in some ways it might be right, because if you see problems everywhere, you're gonna blow. Saying like that, like, okay, so if everything and everywhere we are gonna chase our problems, our energy is gonna be depleted. So we need a mechanism which at one way will tell us, okay, so this is fine, you don't have to take care of this, and it's normal, or ignore it. Let's minimize it.
So you said there are 4 types, right?
Yep.
Are any of them, are they separated into healthy ones and not healthy types of discounting?
Discounting is unhealthy behavior altogether, because you are taking the significance, or you're ignoring part of the problem.
But this negative outcome is on you as a person ignoring it, or on the group?
It's both. Because, for example, like when it comes to data, if you're data analyst and you don't see the problem and you sell this data to your manager, everything is fine, I don't see a problem, and your manager sells it to their manager, suddenly you have VPs telling like, we don't have a problem, and the whole actually organization is fucked up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And same is the example I've shared, is like, if I don't share the feedback with that person, and the person won't get a chance to become better, we'll repeat the same mistake over and over, and will hurt more and more people. Yeah,
basically,
gotcha.
Yeah. So as said, there are 4 levels. First level is the existence, where we talk like, okay, so there are things and I don't see a problem. The next level is significance, when you say, okay, so there might be something, I see that there are some discrepancies or some problems, but they are not really significant. They are not really troublesome. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to care about those. Like, we might have a problem in our team, but it's just one team member, and it's just happening on Fridays when he's grumpy because he's watching a football match. So we don't need to be solving that. Or I see that in your data, there is this NPS and it's jumping, or actually it's decreasing, but it's just one client, and so it's fine. We don't need to look or do anything about it. Which again might be correct, but again, it may be that you are discounting the issue which may be there, and you are just ignoring it again.
How would I know if it's something that I need to deal with or I don't?
I think that here comes the exercise of 5 whys we've had before.
Okay.
So you can watch the episode of 5 whys, but again, it would be something up to you to decide whether it's like how relevant is the data for you, how relevant is the issue to you, and you decide whether you want to already try to root cause analyze it, or if you want to just keep it up and see how it's gonna behave.
So what are the other types?
Okay, so going again a step level, another level. So okay, so there might be a downturn, there might be an issue we already see, and let's say that okay, it's probably significant. Okay, so it's serious for us. But it means that, but when we look at it, it's nothing we can do about it. So whatever we do, it's not our fault. We can't do that. We can't impact it. And this is the level of relevance. Like, okay, we see that in data, the NPS dropped. It's our main client, but you know, it's the client's fault. It was on his side because it was just bad weather, you know, or we have grumpy people in the team, but it's nothing to do with us. We just it's just reflection on probably the tournament we've lost last week, you know, or something else. So if we are not taking responsibility, the accountability for the problem, and we are not going to try to solve it.
What's the difference between this one and the previous stage?
The previous is about the significance. Before, you didn't pay, you said like, okay, it's not significant, it's not crucial for us to solve it. Right now you say, okay, it's really impacting us, but there is nothing we can do about it.
Okay.
So it's about your level of...
Or we think we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's always about we think about that we can't do about it.
So you kind of feel powerless.
Yes.
Okay.
So what's the fourth?
And the fourth is that, okay, so we have a problem. It's serious. There are things we can do about it, but it's not our job.
That one is very common, I think.
Or maybe it's not just my job, but I don't have the right skills for that. So both are like valid. So right now we already accept that there is an issue. We accept that it's crucial for us to solve it. We know that we can do something about it, but we don't have the skills. Like, okay, so we are the team leader. We have problem in the team. It's serious, but you know, it's company policies, or like my manager should do something about it, or I wasn't trained for like firing people, so I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. Or when it comes to data, you know, like, okay, so I see that there is drop in the NPS. I see that it's important client. I see, or I understand that it's our responsibility to fix this, but I have no clue what to do with the client next.
Considering these 4 types of discounting, what would your suggestion be to move on from any of them to being more productive and feeling more in control?
Well, it depends on the level. The easiest to solve is, from my perspective, the last one, personal ability. I don't know how to, because the person already understands the whole issue and is already on the level that I would even take the accountability, but I don't know how to. I'm not capable of. So you just train the person or give them coaching, find the options, and the person is ready to go. The worst problem is that when the group is not even able to accept the existence of the problem.
For the last one, what you've just mentioned, I would suggest, and I did similar to my manager, where I figure out, for example, with my type of work, we had to do lots of post-administration work that sometimes it took even like an hour. And imagine if you do 130 events, then you spend 130 hours on just post-administration work. And so I listed all of the post-administration work, and I sent it to my manager and I asked her, this is what we have to do. Currently, my skills, I'm not able to fix it or come up with solution, but do you know about anyone, maybe among of our team or even outside of our team, who could help and automate? And it's okay, and me being senior, it's okay to even bring it up. And actually she came up, we have 2 very skillful people in our team who did automate it for us, and now it just takes 10 minutes. But if I would never even brought it up, these 2 people would never even get the chance to shine and really show their skills, expertise. So guys, if it really doesn't matter what level you are, whether you're junior, senior, etc., there might be some areas where you really don't have the skills for that, but you can open it up and give an opportunity to someone else. Just don't keep it to yourself.
This is to quote someone who is presenting on this podcast. There are no problems; there are just opportunities. So
I have no
think,
clue what
yeah.
you're talking about.
Who was that?
Give me name.
Give me the name.
But yeah, Kat, what you said is already a way how to move from the discounting, because discounting is about the passivity. Like, okay, I know about everything and I'm not gonna do anything about it. So once you start to do something about it, you are already out of the loop.
So Kolács, you took us through these 4 stages, and I've mentioned, let's say, my proposed solution for the last one, but can you just summarize it and what people should do in each stage? What would be the right approach for each stage?
Okay, let's try that. So the first stage is the existence. Like, we see the data, or we see the team behaviors, we see the individual's behaviors, but we don't see a problem. Until we accept the existence of the problem, we can't do anything about it. So if you're a helping person, if you are a manager and the person is unable to accept that there is a problem, you can come up with more data, observations, reflections. Okay, so what would it mean for you, and stuff like that. So there is, if you would come and say somebody like, hey, you have a problem, it's gonna be it's gonna backfire back to you, probably. No, we don't. And the person is gonna prove you that they don't have a problem. So that's the first part. Then there is the significance. Okay, they accept that, okay, there is a problem. We see that there is an issue, but it's not crucial for us. It's not serious. So in that case, again, you can be there and ask them, like, okay, so what needs to make it serious, or what needs to change so that it's serious? So they see what is the boundary, what is the level. You can use metaphors for that. Like, it's the same, like da-da-da. Does that mean it's not serious? And they need to accept the significance. Once you're on that level, once they understand that there is an issue, it's serious, there might be a hesitance that I can't do anything about it. Like, because I don't, because it's not my fault. It's something I can't influence. That's the relevance, that I'm not relevant in this case. You can use and ask the person what's their connection to the problem, what is within their control, within their circle of influence, what is out of it, and how they actually contribute, what they can, and be, again, asking these insightful questions. And then once the person understands, okay, there is an issue, it's serious, I can do something about it, but I don't have skills. So once you're at this 4th level of personal ability, you can work with the person and search for the options. Maybe the person will tell that, okay, they need to learn something, they need to reach out to somebody, they need to ask for help, or they need to do some brainstorming, blah, 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 whatever. Once you're at that level and the person accepts that there is something they can do and they are willing to search for the options, work is done.
Easy as that.
Easy as that.
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna say it as a sentence. Guys, don't be afraid. Because I usually keep saying, if people in corporation would do at least what is in their contract, the corporation would look totally different. But really, we have these obstacles and issues, etc., and not communicating it correctly or not looking at the stages correctly. We sort of stuck in those circles. So guys, don't be afraid. Listen our Knowledge Empowers podcast and enlarge your knowledges so we can become not only better human beings, but really make our work like better, right? We do spend more than 8 hours just at work. So why not to make it better and have fun and enjoy it? And with that, I'm gonna say 수고하셨습니다.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Čaute, čaute, čaute.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.